Hello. So in last video we had studied what are transistors. Basically, it is a sandwiching of a p between n to n for a sandwiching of n between two p's. And what is emitter, base, and collector, and how we bias the transistors. That is, we forward bias the n and p emitter and base junction. Sorry. And for a normal transistor we generally reverse bias the collector and base. And then we went on to discuss how what this symbol stands for. This stands for NPN, and what this symbol stands for, it stands for PNP transistors. And then we discussed what is a common emitter transistor, what is a common base transistor, and what is a common collector transistor. So this is a collector, not commenter, collector. So now let us see why we do these type of weird connections. What is the utility of doing all these type of weird doping and connections? So let us discuss about working of transistor. And once we understand the physics of transistor, we can easily deduce how a transistor can be used. So here I have denoted a common base transistor. Here base is common to both emitter, so this is an emitter, this side is emitter, this side is base, this side is collector, and it is an NPN transistor. So let us study what will be the physics behind this transistor if we connect it like this. Okay, so this is schematically represented here to the right side, figure taken from Wikipedia. So here again the emitter is an NPN type, and emitter is connected to the negative side, and base and P or base is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So this is in a forward bias mode. And in this, if we consider the collector and base junction, collector, which is the N, is connected to the positive side, positive terminal of the battery. So this is a reverse bias. So now when I connect it like this, this emitter, this N is called N because it has extra electrons. So this emitter will push these electrons. Okay, so let us go to this figure, it will be easier to understand. So this is an emitter. Okay, so this emitter has lot of electrons here, correct? So these electrons, because it is an N type of semiconductor, this is doped with donor impurities. So this negative charge terminal will push these electrons towards the right. So pushing the electrons toward the right means the current flowing in this direction. So this is because this is the current flowing through the emitter. This is known as emitter current or IE. And now this P or base, this P is a very slightly doped. So that's why here they have written P. This emitter, because to pass current we need lot of free electrons. So that's why this side is heavily doped. So that's why it is denoted as N++ here. Okay, because the emitters will be heavily doped, and the collector will be moderately doped, so it will be called N+. Okay, so these electrons will be pushed towards this side. So now what will happen is, because this is a positive terminal of the battery, this is the positive terminal of the battery, these will be pushing the holes towards the opposite side. Okay, so now that's the reason the holes can now combine with these electrons and make the net current 0. Okay, so that is the reason why this is very lightly doped, so that we want very less number of holes, so that they don't neutralize these electrons. Okay, and now consider this, that this side, the collector side, is further connected to a positive terminal of the battery. Okay, this is reverse biased. Okay, so it is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So whatever electron is pushed from here, first because of this positive side, it will be pushed towards the positive terminal, and also because there is very light doping here, so no hole, there will be less number of holes which will be able to neutralize these number of electrons. Okay, so this is the reason, why it is very lightly doped, and it is this side is connected to a reverse bias. Okay, so now so what will happen is, so this current, some portion, so this is IE. Okay, some portion of current will go here, and some portion of current, the majority of the portion of the majority of the current will go here. Now for this I have drawn the electron directions. Okay, the black is the electron direction. Some electrons will go here and lesser number of electrons will go here. Okay, so the direction of current will actually be opposite to this direction of electrons. Okay, so that is the reason IC, the collector current, will flow along this side, and IB will flow in the opposite direction, this side. Okay, so now if we apply the Kirchhoff's law, okay, Kirchhoff's law, consider this junction, this doped, the current which is going from here is the IE. Okay, IE, and the current which is going in this direction is or coming from, this is the direction of electron. So to remove confusion, let me delete the direction of electrons. Okay, so only the direction of currents are shown now. Okay, so if I consider this junction, okay, this current is coming here, this current is coming here, and this current is going out. So from Kirchhoff's law, Kirchhoff junction law, that net current will be, the net current going out will be equal to the sum of currents which are going in. So I will have IE is equal to IC plus IB. Typically, as a general rule, this IB will be very small as compared to IE and IC. So IB will be generally about 1% to 5% of IE. Okay, so whatever electrons are going from here, about 1 to 5% only will go from this route, and the remaining 99 to 95 or 95 to 99% will travel along this and go to this positive terminal. So that is the basic physics behind what will happen. Again, let us, before we proceed further onto the practical use of this, let us define some terms called alpha and beta. Okay, so the alpha is defined as IC, the ratio between IC and IE. Okay, and beta is defined as IC by IB. Okay, so alpha is equal to IC by IE, and beta is equal to IC is defined as the ratio of the collector current to base current. Okay, so repeating, alpha is defined as the ratio of collector current to emitter current, and beta is defined by the ratio of collector current to base current. So these are important definitions. So from this equation, if I substitute, if I divide this, if I divide this by IB on IC on both sides, okay, if I divide this by IC on both sides, so what will I get? IE, because IC is in both this alpha and beta. Okay, so if I divide this by IE by IC, why I am dividing by IC? Because IC is common to both alpha and beta. Just to get a relationship between, what is the relationship between alpha and beta? So IE by IC will be equal to IC by IC, which is equal to 1 plus IB by IC. Okay, so this IC by IB is generally is known as the current gain. Okay, this term is generally known as the current or base current gain. Okay. So anyway, IE by IC is equal to 1 plus IB by IC. And what is IE by IC? IE by IC is the reverse of IC by IE, so it is equal to 1 by alpha is equal to 1 plus IB by IC is nothing but the reverse of IC by IB, which will be 1 by beta. So again, this is the basic relationship between 1 by alpha and beta, and I can again rearrange these terms as beta will be equal to beta. If I solve this for the equation algebraic, simple algebra, I will get 1 beta is equal to 1 by beta is equal to alpha 1 divided by 1 minus alpha. Okay, so as what is beta? We just discussed that IB is generally about 91 to 5% of IE. Okay, so that means this term, if we evaluate beta, it will be almost about equal in the range. If beta is about 1 to 5% of IE, okay, then if you work out the mathematics, then this beta will be about almost equal to about 20 to 100. Okay, this value will become about 20 to 100. Okay, if the value of beta is almost equal to 1 to 5% of IE, and if we find we can find the relationship between IC and IB from this equation, then we will roughly get the value of beta from 20 to 100. Okay, so now let us go to the application of these transistors. What these transistors can actually be used at. Okay, so these transistors can actually be used as in an amplifier circuit. Okay, amplifier circuit. So these can be used as an amplifiers. If I have very small signals, okay, like digital signals, then these can be used to amplify this, so that we can have large currents. Okay, suppose I have a small, for example, I have taken a common emitter. Now we discussed what is the common emitter type transistor. So to illustrate that point, I have taken a common emitter type transmitter, and suppose I have a very small signal, fluctuating signal, this. Okay, so I have, in addition to that battery, I have added a very small fluctuating signal, and that fluctuating signal varies by a very small amount. Okay, for example, radio signals. Okay, radio signals, we ourselves cannot hear the sound waves or radio waves which are coming to which are received through aerial transmissions. Okay, so now because they travel from a very long distance and they become very weak. Okay, so in order to hear those radio waves or to make some useful work out of them, those radio waves need to be amplified. So suppose this is not enough over the long distances, there is a transmitting station and they transmit radio waves so that we can enjoy good music, but those radio stations cannot be over the top of our house, they are quite far away from us. So because of they travel lot of distance, they can become very weak over the period of time. So now when our radio receives those signals, they have to amplify those signals. Okay, so now for us to hear that, similarly television towers, okay, or internet or anything where we get very weak signals and we need to amplify them to be able to actually use it for our purpose. So now I am illustrating how these transistors can be used to amplify those circuits. Okay, so suppose I have a common emitter like that, and to this common emitter I have connected a very small signal, voltage signal here, which is very weak signal. Okay, it is very less, the amplitudes are very less, and I want to amplify it. Okay, so I will amplify it, I will pass it through this transistor circuit, and which is a common emitter type, and I will get an output from these 2 points, and I will show that we can set it up in such a way that I get a higher output, or this, so I will call it as V output, and this input is Vi. Okay, Vi is the input. So what happens here is, whenever, like, so if I change this voltage, obviously this current will change, correct? So current will change as per the change in the voltage. So change in voltage is V naught. Okay, so if the change in voltage is V naught, what will be the change? Suppose it changes constantly. So V naught is the change in voltage. So if V naught always changes, then this IB will also keep on changing. Okay, so what will be the change in IB if I know what is V naught? Okay, so from Ohm's law, simple Ohm's law, I know that V is equal to Ri. Okay, V is equal to Ri. So delta V will be equal to, if my resistance is constant, will be equal to R into delta I. Correct? So now what is delta V? Delta V is this fluctuation in voltage, which I can write it as V naught, or sorry, both I have written V naught. This is the input voltage, so Vi. This is the output voltage, amplified output voltage, which will I write as V naught. So what is the fluctuation in voltage, input voltage? It is Vi will be equal to the resistance of this transistor, or because this is the base emitter circuit, I can write it as total resistance of the base and emitter. Okay, it might include this, it can include this resistor. So effective resistance of this base emitter, I am writing it as RBE into delta IB. So this is the change in the base current. So this will be equal to, for delta IB, what will be delta IB? So delta IB will be equal to VI divided by RBE, resistance of the base emitter circuit. Now we had discussed in our previous some basic terminology, correct? What was, so before that, if the base current changes, obviously this collector current will also change. There will be a corresponding change in the collector current. Okay, so what will be the direction of the collector current? Now this is an NPN type conductor. So if the direction of the collector current is shown, we had discussed how to find the direction in our one of our videos of the semiconductor, because here the N is pushed towards this positive side, because the electrons are pushed toward the positive side, the flow of electrons is in wait a minute, because let me check. Okay, so this seems to be, so emitter is like this, so emitter will push the, let us deduce it, emitter, let us work it out. So this is emitter base is forward bias, negative terminal is connected to the emitter, so emitter will push the electrons. So if the emitter will push the electrons along this direction, it will go to the collector like this. Okay, so that's the reason the current flow in the emitter will be in opposite direction. So the flow in emitter will be like this, and because the electrons are going like this to the positive terminal, so that means that I have made a mistake. The direction of IC should be like this. So anyway, that doesn't matter. So if what really matters is for our derivation, though you should get these things right, or we should get these things right. But if the base current, if there is a change in base current, obviously there will be a change in the emitter current, as well as there will be a change in the collector current. Okay, and in our just few minutes back, few minutes back we had discussed the relationship between, what is the relationship between the collector current and the base current. The relationship between the collector current and base current is, so this is equal to beta. Okay, so IC will be equal to beta into IB, correct? So we know that we had just discussed in a previous section that IC is equal to beta IB. IC is equal to beta IB. So delta, because the change in IB, because of change in IB, there will be a change in IC, which will be equal to beta times delta IB. And if I just put the value of the value of IB here, from here I will get IC will be equal to beta times Vi divided by RBE. Okay, and what will be the change in current? Okay, the change in IC. Okay, so the change in IC, so see here, IC is flowing through this, correct? IC is flowing through this. So the change in IC, the change in current through this will be equal to, from Ohm's law, change in IC, delta IC will be equal to the change in current, delta V, divided by V is equal to Ri. So I will be equal to V by R. So the change in current will be equal to the change in voltage across this, the change in voltage across this divided by the resistance. Okay, and what is the change in voltage? It is the change in output for this, the change in, or the amplified output. Let us see whether it will be amplified or not, but for now it is, let us assume that there will be a change. So delta IC will be equal to change in voltage, or the voltage fluctuation, which is equal to V naught. Okay, so what I will simply write is delta IC will be equal to V naught by RL is equal to B Vi by RBE. RBE. Okay, so just now rearranging this term, so V naught by Vi, or the, now we have got the actual meat. Okay, the all those previous discussion, previous confusions, all those confusions were there, but now we have got to the essence, which is the ratio of V naught by Vi. And ratio of V naught by Vi is nothing but, we will come to know whether it is more or less or equal, the ratio of V naught by Vi. We have come to the actual meat, what we are trying to find out. So V naught by Vi will be equal to, if I just rearrange this term, it will be equal to beta times RL by RBE. Okay, so what do we know about beta? We just discussed 5 minutes back that beta varies from about 20 to 100. Okay, so it is, beta is almost 20 to 100. Okay, depending on case to case, and we can always choose a value of RL. Okay, we can always use a value of RL. RL is this one. We can always use a resistor RL which has a higher resistance than RBE. So this term can also be made high. Okay, or higher, at least higher than 1. Okay, so we see that V naught by Vi is more than 20 to 100 times. Okay, so it is a positive. So there is a big amount of amplification which has been done to this very weak signal. Okay, there, so this weak signal was there. Okay, so the amplification is at least about 20 to 100 times, 20 to 100 multiplied by even more than this, RB by RL divided by RBE. So we see that we can achieve huge magnification of very weak signals. So that is why transistors are so popular. They are very easy to construct, or relatively easy to construct, and they give us big advantage, easy to manipulate different types of signals. So this is at least just one of the applications or usefulness of transistors. So with this we complete our discussion on semiconductors. So see you in the next video with some more new and interesting topics in physics.